Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier this week, this is what I call busy season for Call of Duty because, of course, we have the new game coming out, Call of Duty Vanguard, just a couple weeks away. Today, we got the Zombies reveal for that game, which we're going to be going over. But on top of this, we also have the current games that are out, Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, with their normal Thursday updates as well. So I figured the best way to do today's video is what I like to call the Call of Duty Weekly Reload. As you can see, Dexter behind me has a fancy little shirt on because he just got neutered yesterday. So it's been a busy day around here. But as far as this video goes, we're going to start out by looking at zombies, then move into the Black Ops Cold War and Warzone updates. And if you're not used to the Call of Duty Weekly Reload, it's just a roundup of the weekly news. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So as I mentioned, starting out, we have the new Zombies trailer. Now, I can't play any of the music in the background because it's copyrighted and Billie Eilish will try to take down my video. What you need to know is there's actually only one map. It looks like there's like 3 different maps in this trailer, but there's only one called Durong Fong, and it follows Von List, the character who you are seeing here, who's able to summon the undead, and you are trying to take him down, and that is what's going on Durong Fong. Now, as far as the gameplay of this goes, it's going to be very similar to Black Ops Cold Wars. However, there's a couple of different ways that you can get different upgrades that are different than Black Ops Cold War. For example, there are various different objectives that you complete in the different areas of the map, which we're going to talk about in a second. And then using the item you get from those objectives, you can then upgrade things like your weapons so they reload when you're not using them. Brain rot, so for example, you can turn a zombie on your side just like you do in Black Ops Cold War. It's just a different way of getting these upgrades. Now, of course, there's the traditional stuff like perks as well as Pack-a-Punch, but the one thing you'll notice is that there's different areas on this map. So you start out in Stalingrad, and then there's these portals. You can go to Hotel Royale. After this, we see Shino Numa, one of my favorite zombies maps of all time, and you go through the portals, you complete objectives there, but all in all, it takes place in Stalingrad. It's a different way of doing a zombies map as there's all these different locations, and I'm interested to see how that plays out. And from what we're hearing, it appears as though there's only one zombies map at launch, but there's these different areas throughout this zombies map. It's going to be a very interesting way of doing it, and looking at the gameplay, it's a much dark and grittier environment than what we saw in Black Ops Cold War, and I'm very interested to see how that plays out. But all in all, based off of the trailer, based off of what we heard, definitely looking forward to this, and it will operate like Black Ops Cold War, where you can level up your weapons, you can level up your characters and things like that within zombies, which is awesome to see, and I think people will really enjoy that. So from my end, thumbs up, but you can let me know what you think of this down in the comments. Now, I'm not going to go into too much more depth. We don't go over zombies too much on this channel, but for those of you who are a zombies fan, this is definitely something that you're going to want to check out. And once again, Treyarch is making this, so you kind of know what you can expect from it. So diving into the updates, starting out with Black Ops Cold War. First of all, our new playlists for this week are America 24/7, which is one of the new maps for Season 6. Of course, Nukejacked, which is a combination of Hijacked and Nuketown. We have Gunfight Glabuko 24/7. So this is the new gunfight map. It's 24/7 gunfight on that map. So if you want to get your hands on that map, this is a good way to do so. Face off 6v6, 12v12 mosh pit, party games, and finally fire team. So really nothing too fancy there. We do have a lot of new stuff in the store. However, first off, we have Stoner's Delight. That one you can pretty much use your imagination for, but you get a Port Nova skin with this one. On top of that, the Death's Toke, which is the submachine gun variant that you were seeing here. On top of that, the Reaper's Breath. This one is for the tactical rifle. And then finally, you have the weapon charm, emblem, calling card, and 1 tier skip, which will help you out with some of those Vanguard items that are in the battle pass that we talked about earlier this week. Now, we have 2 other ones. First off, we have Fuse. We kind of talked about this one last week. This is the newest operator. It's an operator pack, which costs 2,000 points. Plus, on top of that, you get the operator missions, which you get 300 COD points for completing. So essentially, this one costs 1,700 COD points, as well as you get 2 different blueprints with it as well. The other one's the Sultan's Wrath. This one's for Salah. As far as this one goes, you get 2 different weapon blueprints with this as well. And again, once again, 300 COD points. So this one costs 2,400 COD points. Essentially, this one's 2,100 COD points is the easiest way to look at it. And then on top of this, they've added back in the Die Hard and the Rambo bundle. So if you missed them back then, you can then go ahead and get them now. Other than that, everything here is pretty straightforward. So moving on to Warzone, we have a new playlist this week. It's called Scopes and Scatterguns on Rebirth. So essentially, this is shotguns and snipers. Really straightforward. These are the weapons that you find. The weapon that you start with, I believe, is the Marshals. So it should be a pretty interesting playlist, but this one is only on Rebirth Island. Speaking of which, we have Rebirth Resurgence squads. This is pretty much always there. Nothing too special. Also, we have Payload on Promenade. This seems to be kind of sticking around. They're just changing the location every week. I'm not a big Payload fan, but you can let me know what you think. We also have Clash, which is essentially large-scale team deathmatch. And then finally, we have our quads, trios, duos, and solos. very straightforward this week. It is interesting that they're adding kind of more of these one-off playlists. Normally we just have payload, or we just have clash, or just have scopes and scatter guns, but this week we actually have 3 of them. So I wonder if that's something we're going to see more of, these one-off playlists just being added week after week. Not 100% sure, but we also talked about this earlier this week, but I wanted to point it out in this video. Now in the battle pass, you can unlock some Call of Duty Vanguard weapons, which you then can use in Warzone and level them up for when Vanguard actually launches. So if you want to do that, it's a really good opportunity. You'll have some weapons and attachments unlocked right away at the beginning when you have Vanguard. Now, since this is the Call of Duty Weekly Reload, there's a couple other things that happened this week that I wanted to point out. The first of which is the new anti-cheat system. I have a whole video dedicated to this that I made yesterday. It's called the Ricochet anti-cheat system. I go much more in depth in that video, but essentially what you need to know is when the Warzone Pacific map comes out, they are adding in the anti-cheat. It's going to directly interact with the game, only the game, not just your PC, and anything interacting with the game, it will stop. So this should really cut down on the cheating. And if you want to see a more in-depth dive on that, click that link down in the description. The final thing that I want to talk about is the Haunting event. So this is coming out next Tuesday, the 19th. On Monday, we should be getting a deep dive of everything that we're actually getting in that event. But as far as what we know so far, we know Scream, he is coming. He's being added into the game, aka Ghostface. But there's also been some leaked screenshots, which I actually can't show, but it's images of Verdansk 84 at night. Now, it is hard to tell if these have just been Photoshopped because it's a relatively easy thing to do in Photoshop, but I'm willing to guess that they are real because that's exactly what they did last year. They added in a night mode of the map. It was a little bit foggy. They added in the zombies, the jump scares in the crates, all of which I'm willing to bet will be back in the coming week, which is really exciting to me because that zombies mode is my favorite mode that's ever been added into Warzone. So I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on that. So that's essentially the summary of everything that has happened this week. Real quickly, I just kind of want to iterate what we have coming up. So next week, we have the Haunting of Verdansk, which is seemingly going to go on for essentially 2 weeks as we go over Halloween. And then just 5 days after Halloween, we have the launch of Call of Duty Vanguard. So as I've been saying over the past week, this is busy season for Call of Duty. We're going to keep getting information leading up to this. As we do, I will keep you guys updated as soon as we have more gameplay and things like that. I will be bringing you guys videos. So if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We have a ton of stuff coming over the next couple of weeks, so make sure you have notifications and are subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy these type of videos, it's the best way to stay up to date. Also, if you do enjoy, it's always appreciated if you hit that like button, and I always love to hear what you guys have to say. So if you have anything to say about the new zombies map, the updates, what's coming for Vanguard, let me know down in the comments. I'll be checking all of those out. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars.